Big Play Reflog Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News is the place to be for all your gaming news with reviews, guides, and walkthroughs. We've talked a lot on here about PlayStation and Xbox's new consoles, but right now be sure to check out Shack News' featured interview where they break down everything that Nintendo has planned for 2021. From old school Twitch streams to celebrity interviews to video game tournaments, they do it all at Shack News. Be sure to subscribe with them on Twitch to see the newest games as well as some great throwbacks. And now Shack News is changing the video game coverage landscape with Shack News Cortex, where you can post your own articles and get involved in the gaming community right on their site. So if you're a gamer, Shack News is the site for you. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle at Shack News and at ShackNews.com.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Cut back by Chubb. He's to the 10. He's still running to the 5. He dips outside left. He's doing it. Touchdown. Surrender. To the left. Away. Back to goal. Reflog. It's tough golfer backward. Boom shakalaka.
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. Today is Monday, February 1st, 2021. Happy February, happy Black History Month. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my main man, Mr. Chris McNeil. What is up, man?
Little snowy down here in Columbus, I'll be honest with you.
How many driveway shovels are you through now?
I've done about 4 in the last 48 hours, and I'm not looking forward to doing it again tomorrow morning. Kids were off school today, so yeah, we've got a 4-alarm snow emergency here in the Columbus land area.
I feel like it's rare that you get more snow than Cleveland.
I know, kind of turning the tables a little bit here, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Bah humbug. Happy February, Chris. And we got
and I'm a skier, but I haven't been out skiing yet. I need to take advantage of this and get out there and all this new snow.
That's right. And our other co-host, the one and only, Mr. Nick Padone, coming through on the fly. How you doing, brother?
Hello. I'm good. Snowy as well. Super Bowl week. Nice to be with you guys.
That's right. So we got a great show for everyone tonight. What is going on? Say hello in the comments. Tonight on the show, Power Rank Monday. We're going to go Super Bowl. Worst things about the Super Bowl. Our show writer, Nick, Dollar Dog Nick, must have been a little negative when he was putting this thing together. Worst things about the Super Bowl. We hate snow. Bah humbug. Here we go. Then we'll get into our featured interview with some energy. The world-class competitive eaters, Miki, Sudo, #1 in the world, women's champ, undisputed, undefeated, and #6 in the world overall, Nick Wehry, the power couple. We're talking food with them. We'll talk Super Bowl food and a whole lot more. They got some cool things going on with the Super Bowl. Then we will follow that up with our breakdown of Cleveland headlines. Nick, I know you're excited. Talk a little Cavs with this upcoming stretch. Indians spent a little bit of money. We will react to that. Super Bowl predictions. And then we will wrap up the show with the best and worst tweets of the week. Make sure you submit those each week to our show handle, Big Play Reflog. DM those best and worst tweets of the week you want to nominate, and we will get that into the show. Let's kick it off with some Power Rank Monday.
It's time
for Power Rank Monday.
All right, so it is officially Super Bowl week. Everyone loves the game, but it's become more about the events and the lead up to the actual game, which usually goes under, by the way. So we are going to power rank the worst things about the Super Bowl. I'll kick it off with my number one, or my number three, I mean. This is actually about the game. Reliving Chiefs-Browns in my head and just thinking, man, this, what could have been. The helmet-to-helmet, Chad Henne, 3rd and 14. Reliving it all in my head as we watch the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Horrible feeling.
Nuts, Dave.
Horrible feeling.
That'll drive a man to drink right there.
That's right. I will drink during the Super Bowl. My number two, I'm going with the commercial spoilers. You see all of them before the game. It's
right.
Chris, like the nostalgia of watching the game as a kid, and you had no idea what these Super Bowl commercials were going to be. You
Right.
loved them. You had Pepsi, Coke, Doritos, all the big names going at it. Now I don't really care at all.
You'd come in low. I mean, you wouldn't have the expectations you do today. Before, it was like, oh, they're coming out with a new commercial campaign that happens to debut during the Super Bowl. This could be fun. And then after that's built upon itself now for the last 30 years, it's kind of expected. So the expectations are pretty darn high, and rare that the commercials actually meet those expectations, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is true. So, yeah, don't look forward to those. And my number one, it's the day and the time. Not to go bah humbug as well, but National Championship, Super Bowl, put them all on a Saturday.
Please.
I don't understand this. Like,
Make the switch.
6 o'clock on a Sunday, people have to work the next day. Kids want to watch the game. National Championships Monday at 9:32 p.m. Eastern Standard. There's no point. There's nothing going on Saturday. Literally nothing going on in like all of our lives. Just do it Saturdays.
Thank you.
You're-
Thank you.
you're
I mean,
welcome.
That's what everybody's been saying. They'll probably never deliver it, even in our lifetimes. It makes no sense.
No.
To my knowledge.
And I've never gotten a good reason why they do it. I know the national championship games don't want to compete with some other sports, I guess. Like, I think the NFL playoffs might have been on Saturdays at that time. I don't know. It's stupid.
Well, I know they always say it's for TV ratings and getting the maximum audience.
Yeah.
Sunday night, typically nobody has anything going on at all across the nation or across the world, is what they think. And that's the best spot that they can find. But come on. Like, they're not going to watch it if you put it on the Saturday.
No, it's the worst. Chris, what do you got? Top three.
My number three. One of my favorite things as a kid, and Dave, I don't know if you enjoyed these as well, was the Bud Bowl. Do you remember the Bud Bowl? I'm wearing
of
my
course.
Bud Bowl shirt. Bud Bowl shirt. Thank you, homage, right here.
Yes.
Bud Bowl. Everything else is just a game. Between Budweiser and Bud Light, anybody have an idea of what the record was? There were 8 games played. What was the record of Budweiser during those 8 games?
Ooh, jeez.
Nick, do you even know what we're talking about?
I didn't even know this was a thing. No.
I've got
Oh.
Noah, my
Too young
intern.
for
He's
that.
back. Noah, do you know anything about the Bud Bowl?
That's the first time I've heard of it as soon as you said something.
That's incredible.
Oh, my God.
So it was
Chris,
like claymation, basically, bottles that would play in commercials ongoing throughout the game. And they give you score updates. And they had all kinds of celebrities who were, in the announcer's booth for these things. I think, who did it? Chris Berman did one. Who else was in there? There were several like name brand type of guys. And I can't, and now I'm just totally drawing a blank.
Yeah, I
on
can't
something.
remember who actually did it.
Oh, who's the guy? Who's oh boy, who was always haggling over women at the collegiate level.
Haggling over women.
So it doesn't sound like it was a very spectacular thing.
No, it was.
At the
It
time,
really,
Nick.
really was.
Nick, go back and watch this in standard definition.
I feel like I wouldn't enjoy
Brent
it at all.
Musburger. He's the one always haggling over women. Brent Musburger was actually one of the announcers at one point. I mean, it was good stuff, and it was very entertaining for that time. I mean, it was basically like YouTube clips before there was YouTube. is what these commercials were, and they were fantastic. And Budweiser was like, of the 8 games, I think they won 6, so they were 6-2. But it was a good time, man, during the game. And back in those days, the game wasn't that great, so the commercials were the event.
Oh yeah,
not they really was. There was that point in the late 80s into the 90s. There were a lot of bad games, so that was definitely a highlight. And I miss having those Bud Bowls.
good reference for
My
the
number
kids.
My number 2. Lack of Budweiser frogs. Here's another great marketing campaign. Are you guys aware of the Budweiser frogs?
Oh yeah, Nick.
Nope.
Oh,
Wow.
we're striking out here, Chris.
Budweiser. Oh, it was classic. Yeah, and then you had the wasa after that. I mean, those were good commercials. See, that's what we're missing these days. That's what people don't understand. That's where the commercialism was born, was back 30 years ago, and it's been downhill since then. I wish we could get back to some of that originality, some of the new stuff. It's not all celebrity driven. It's about new ideas and kind of, just running with some fun concepts. And nowadays it doesn't seem like we have a whole lot of those. They're just so trying to beat each other out and just not focused on the content of these commercials. Go back to the old school, go back to the drawing board on some of these things. Speaking of which,
Completely agree.
my number 1, halftime shows. Halftime shows. We need to get back to when the halftime show was at its peak. And I think everybody would agree it was at its peak in 2004. Remember 2004's halftime show?
Absolutely.
Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson, wardrobe malfunction. It doesn't get any better than that. I'll never forget where I was at on my couch when that happened. And remember, that was before you could rewind live TV, and you didn't have Twitter. You didn't have Facebook. You didn't have anything. So I was left saying, I think that just happened. Did you guys see that? I think I saw something. Did that really happen? No, that couldn't have. Not during this. No way. And it wasn't until like the next day it was confirmed when you're listening to sports radio and they're like, oh my God, what happened? And of course it became a big national story, but that was amazing. At that point in time, that's when I think there were a lot of inventors going, you know what? We need to invent the TiVo. We need to invent the TiVo right now. That needs to happen. It was due to that 2004 halftime show. There's my top 3.
Oh yeah, remember Left Shark?
Oh, Left Shark. That was another one. Katy Perry.
Yeah, Left Shark.
2015. Another classic. Come on.
The classics.
Let's go back to those simpler times when we had good halftime shows.
Remember when Lady Gaga jumped from the roof?
Yeah.
Nick, what do you got? What's your top 3?
All right, let's do it. My number 3. It's got to be the end of football season, right? Like that's the most depressing thing about the Super Bowl ending. It's like, well, what now? You go on and live every Sunday just like normally, like with no football on. There's no fun in that. We got a small taste of it this week with the Madden Pro Bowl that nobody watched anything of. That I think Snoop Dogg was in it. I think Snoop Dogg was in the virtual Pro Bowl I saw on TikTok, but
missed that.
Yeah, it's depressing. The end of football season.
Right.
All right, my number 2. No Browns. You know what I hate seeing is the Super Bowl, LV, like written everywhere, 55 Super Bowls. And I'm sure because it's, a pretty nice, not an even number, but 55. It's a monumental Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, first home Super Bowl. Just the sinking feeling of the Browns have never even appeared in this. That's just one of my least favorite things, but it will be sweet when that finally all goes away, which we are all led to believe on this show that will be very soon.
Next year.
That's right.
Next year, exactly. All right, my number 1 thing that I hate most about the Super Bowl is watching with other people.
Interesting.
You guys are giving me some junk about this before we went on air, but I hate listening to the talking, people having like sidebar conversations. There's stuff going on in the kitchen, like Super Bowl parties, obviously not happening this year.
Going
due to
on
COVID.
in the kitchen.
But like, exactly. Like I just
going
hate
to
it.
Nick's
I want
Super Bowl party. There's always something going on in the kitchen.
I just want to sit down and watch it and enjoy it and enjoy the game. Like that's why the Super Bowl is played, for the game on
by
the field,
yourself, wrapped in a blanket.
Not by myself, but with other people that like I enjoy. Like not It definitely has to be under 10 people. Like even post-COVID, there should be no such thing as Super Bowl parties with more than 10 people.
All right, Nick. Next week we're gonna power rank your top 3 favorite people.
Oh, it's a small list. I think we can make that happen though. Am I the only one?
I love watching with people. You're too young for this. You're way too young to be that curmudgeon.
He's basically Andy Rooney already. This is the last segment of 60 Minutes.
Oh
from
my God.
15, 20 years ago. You don't even know who Andy Rooney is. You know what? I hate
no comment.
That's Andy Rooney.
Oh God, that's
R.I.P. Andy
fantastic.
Rooney.
I just like enjoying it, like just listening to it, watching it, not being bothered.
I hear you. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on before Nick depresses us all. It's time for our featured interview of the week. Let's bring him in. We're hungry. It is time. We will be back in 30 seconds with Miki Sudo and Nick Wehry.
Interesting.
Let's get it going. On the line, we have the hungry couple, 6-time hot dog eating world champ, the undisputed, undefeated Miki Sudo joining the show with my man, number 6 in the world, moving up those rankings. We got Nick Wehry. Welcome to the show, Nick and Miki. How you guys doing?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, pretty good, man. Thank you for having us.
What's going on?
So let's get right into that because I heard something on the internet, Miki, from you. You guys are expecting a baby. Congratulations.
Crazy, right?
That's awesome.
Thank you. We're super, super excited. I mean, I didn't know that we'd be creating the very being that would take me out of competing for a while. But,
yeah, I needed to move up in the rankings.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just seemed like the next logical step to place higher in contests. It's an investment, but this is the way we're gonna go.
Made 4D chess over there. Right there.
So this is like LeBron James, Candace Parker making a super baby. Like this baby is going to come out. How many hot dogs will this baby be eating at 3 years?
I don't think this baby will be allowed to eat hot dogs. People have asked us, and I'm like, this kid can do whatever they want to do. They could be a concert pianist. They could be an astronaut. They could be, like one of those couples on HGTV that seems to be a zillionaire with a very normal job. What they will not do is bodybuild or competitive eat. That is it. Those two things are off the table.
Oh, that's hilarious. So how have you guys been? I mean, it's been a while. So I believe we had you on right before Nathan's.
Yeah, they got good karma after this.
Yeah. You guys crushed it.
Yeah.
Miki, it's par for the course. You destroy everyone. You're crushing it. You're a machine. Nick, dude, you were holding your own right next to Joey Chestnut. We were rooting you on the entire time. So you moved from 8 to 6 in the world.
Yep.
How's that feel, man?
It feels great. It's been kind of a progression. I think my rookie year, it was like 14th. I want to say 14th in the world. Moved up to 8th. Now at 6th, and my Nathan's placings have gone 10th, 6th, and now 3rd. So the next logical step, I guess, would be 2nd, and then kind of go from there. And I'm staring right now at 7 giant pink belts hanging on my living room wall. So I have a lot to try to live up to here.
So Nick, you're
how
at
weird was
6. What do you need to do to move to 5? Is there anyone in your way at 5 overall in the world?
5? Yeah. Yeah, she's in the way. So hence, right now, I'm just like, all right, here's 9 months where I have an opportunity. No, we're super competitive, and it's great. And to be honest with you, the rankings, they're somewhat of a competitive eating rankings. I would say are a lot like college football or basketball rankings. People will always argue where they should be, and obviously you have the obvious of the Joey Chestnut being number 1. But if I was to do the rankings and try to take an objective point of view, I would probably put her 3rd, in the world to only Joey and Jeff. If you look at her placings consistently, when she shows up and wants to, she's literally beaten everyone on the circuit at one point or another. That being said, if she slows down, I've kicked her ass a few times too. So you never know. You never know how things are going to go. But we're just happy that things are kind of at least moving in the right direction.
So how was it like for the competitors last year for the Nathan's hot dog eating competition? With the COVID restrictions, it was completely different to anybody who watched it like I did. And having watched that for so many years, you're so used to the crowd engagement. And they did some fun things there to try and bring that element to it. But it was simply different. You guys were kind of in plexiglass. You guys were in that room. What was that like? What was that whole experience like?
I mean, I'd be happy if they kept the plexiglass. Yeah, I know if I were eating on the guy's side, even more so, because I've eaten hot dogs between, Jeff Esper and Darren Breeden, it was definitely different without the crowd, because we all feed off that sort of energy. But we were without a crowd, but we weren't without fans, right? Because it was still the most viewed program on the 4th of July, as it is every year.
Oh, yeah.
Broadcast to hundreds of thousands, over 1 million, each year. So, I just kind of kept in mind that actually a lot of reasons. For the first time ever, the women's contest was broadcast in its entirety. 2, there were a whole bunch of people cheering for us back at home. 3, we were raising money for a great cause. And, 4, just the whole competitive spirit, Yeah,
so. It was definitely a different process going through everything. Part of it was nice. Some of it was streamlined. There isn't 40 very big personalities trying to play peacock all there and stuff like that. But at the same time, and like she said, the plexiglass is nice because you don't have debris kind of flying everywhere. But you remember there's people at home. I imagine it's similar for NFL players or the WWE wrestlers right now that are just looking at people on screens. You have to remember, if you still have 1 million people watching you at home, you still have to bring it, because they're still, paying, so to speak, at least with their time, to be there and watch you perform.
Do you miss something from not having the crowd there, of the momentum once you get going and once you start putting down some of those dogs?
I miss having a countdown. I don't know if anybody caught that. The women's contest, there was 0 10-second countdown. So you'll see me just completely lost. Are we still eating? Sorry. That's not to take a dig at Major League Eating. There's a lot going on. They had a lot to keep track of. And I guess time literally got away from them.
Yeah.
But with that said, I mean, all joking aside, yeah.
It's electric, when you get, thousands of people chanting for you, against you, or otherwise. Obviously, come the 4th of July, most people are chanting for her, or when we go on, they're chanting for Chestnut. But even if you are chanting for, that's even better. I think of that meme where it's yes, boomy, I feed off your boobs. That's phenomenal. If I can go out there and negative energy and positive energy, you still really feel it. That really pushes you when hot dog number 40 is going down your face, and the last thing you want to do is eat another hot dog. To have thousands of people kind of screaming is pretty motivating.
Definitely. So you guys are going to be competing here in the DraftKings Big Game Smackdown live from Tampa, right before Snackdown. Oh, I misread that.
Right. Come on, Nick.
Yeah, a little play with words there from Major League Eating. But this is described as a multi-food steeplechase eating contest. Can you explain what the hell that is for the regular fan that's getting ready to watch this on Sunday?
No idea. No, I'm just kidding.
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. What? No, there's going to be 8 foods eaten in a particular order. It's an 8-minute contest, so it's either going to be it's first to finish for the winner, or if nobody finishes, whoever eats the most. I think this contest, I would expect probably at least half the field, to finish. But that can be tough. You're preparing 8 different foods in large quantities for 6 of us eating up there on stage. And anybody who saw the DraftKings event and Halloween, that candy kind of kicked all of our asses. It was really tough to adjust your technique midway through the contest. And I think and candy was kind of a new discipline for a lot of us too, but we're going to do, let's say it's pepperoni pizza, then chili, then I think pigs in a blanket, boneless wings, 8-layer dip, cheese balls, jalapeno poppers, and a sub.
Oh my God.
The order isn't exact. I know we finished with the jalapeno poppers, which can be a little rough, if you're not for spice or cream cheese. But there's going to be big adjustments, eating 8-layer dip straight. We're not sitting there with Tostitos and munching it down. And
you eat it with your hand?
You can eat it with your hand or a spoon. We have the choice.
Oh, okay. How civilized.
That's going to be personal preference. The cheese balls, eating 100 cheese balls as fast as possible, that can be a little rough. But the great thing about this is sometimes, anyone who's spoken with or heard Joey Chestnut speak, he'll talk about getting into a vicious rhythm. That's really hard to do when you're adjusting 8 separate times in a contest. And it's not a pure capacity contest either. So this isn't like a poutine where you're just talking about who's got 25 pounds of real estate to put gravy and fries away.
Right.
So it should be fun.
Last time we had you guys on too, you kind of talked us through like what the preparation is for something like this. And it's much similar to what a normal athlete goes through. You train by eating and working your way up to the big day. How has that changed for when you have to prepare for 8 different foods come competition time?
Just candy, yeah. It's like when we prepared together for the Halloween candy bowl, it was 6 different candies. It was kind of just go to the store, get them, and the really cool thing about living with her is we can kind of compare and contrast notes. Like we have different styles with what our strengths are and how we eat things, but we both kind of know each other too. So we can kind of see like, hey, you could try it this way, or maybe try it like this. So with the 8 different foods, I've gathered all 8 foods as similarly as I think I can get them and practiced a little bit. So I would say the big difference is if you're doing something like just straight, hot dogs or tamales or chili, all right, let's go get 15 pounds of this, or let's go get, for us in a hot dog practice, 90 or 100 hot dogs, cook these up and just go. There's a little bit more of, there's some like slow eating at first, so to speak, or kind of feeling it out, and then just kind of trying to ramp up the pace.
So I feel like you guys have very different styles when you're doing the hot dogs. Like Nick, we were showing the video of you just like right before, just like the super violent like hot dog get down there. Like, do you have different techniques per food? I would assume so. And how is that going to work with like, I don't know, like what's your plan for the layered dip?
No, it's gonna be really hard for me to have to sit this one out. It's easy to criticize, from the sidelines. I don't know. I think gauging how much water you use is going to be hard to do.
Yeah, that can be tough because you typically know with one solid food, okay, I can use roughly this much water per, pound or per X amount of hot dogs or what have you. You kind of know where you're supposed to stand. When you're doing all of these and, all of a sudden you're approaching maybe between 9 to 12 pounds of solid food, you start putting away half a gallon of water, you start looking at 15 to 18 pounds of total volume that you're consuming in 8 minutes. that becomes more and more difficult. So even if you have the real estate, so to speak, your body starts to go, that's adorable. We're going to slow down now. You know?
I think it's gonna be crucial. I think it's gonna be really crucial to gain, like to establish a distance, like in things like the chili and the 8-layered dip.
Ugh.
Because if you can kind of get away from the pack, or at least catch up, make up ground if you're falling behind, that's really going to help you out when things like the sub come into play. At least for me personally.
Yeah, like those foods are typically much more strengths for her. Like she's with her world records being like Minnesota hot dish, kimchi, obviously hot dogs and ice cream. Kind of more like, I don't know, like pasty foods or almost like semi-solids. She kicks ass in that. Where with me, I typically need a little bit more fluids, but a food like pepperoni rolls or pork roll sandwiches in Jersey that are maybe slightly more difficult to eat, those sometimes bode a little bit better for me. Very strong flavors. So this is kind of, it's tough to go into this contest and say this is a clear-cut favorite because it's not one food discipline, so to speak. I think we can look at the rounds of food and say, okay, this person is probably a favorite. But when you have someone, let's say like a Gideon Oji who's competing with us, Gideon shows up sometimes like you did for a bologna at a contest last year or for kale or corn. And sometimes foods that are hard to eat, he just figures it out. You're like, yeah, it's like watching Sean Bradley play and he goes and puts up 38 or something. You're like, what just happened? Like, he just figured it out all of a sudden. But it's it'll be exciting to kind of see how everything goes.
So we got some live comments. Jared says, "Congrats, Nick, Miki." He wants to know any food cravings thus far. He said his wife liked veggies and put ketchup on everything. Any cravings so far?
I don't think anything out of the ordinary. I think my meals have gotten really boring. I typically start with fruit and yogurt in the morning and like a salad for lunch. I'm just relieved that like I haven't had any food aversions, because I mean cravings are one thing, but I'd be really sad if like my favorite foods were making me sick. So yeah, I'm lucky. I feel like I can still eat everything.
She's just tired and grouchy.
Yeah.
There's no craving. She's just pregnant.
Nick, I remember when my wife was pregnant. This was like way later. She was huge, and like we got Arby's. And we're eating Arby's like on the way home, like pulling out of the drive-through back to the street, and she just looks at me and she's go around again. I was like, oh my god, what is going on? So you got some time.
I guarantee you pulled that car around again without asking any questions.
I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah, nothing too crazy yet,
I don't know. We kind of just moved to the area, so I'm having fun trying out different restaurants and cuisines that we didn't have in Connecticut. And, again, I'm just happy that like my favorite foods aren't making me sick.
That's awesome.
Miki, I'm just picturing Miracle, and she's just like again. Again.
Miki, now that you're kind of on the sidelines for this one, could you see yourself, coaching Nick up a little bit, maybe before, after, like, hey, man, those chicken wings were going down a little bit slow there in the middle?
Yeah, but I mean, it always comes from a place of love. I mean, we give each other pointers. What is he doing? Yeah, we give each other, like, pointers and feedback. But I think it's important to be like supportive and constructive, because I don't know, but I'll just be cheering him on.
Yeah, and I respect your opinion. That makes it a lot easier. I think if our talents were like here and here, so to speak, like obviously she's accomplished eons more than I have in the sport, but I respect if there was a Mount Rushmore of the sport, and I've said it before, she'd be on it. So if I was just going to sit here and go, she doesn't know what she's talking about, I'd be kind of an idiot to sit and do that.
I mean, if I point anything out, it's stuff that he already knows anyway. But like what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for him. Like I could point out to a bunch of eaters, you're spending too much time chewing. And then those same eaters will tell me, well, you're wasting time putting your mouth to your right shoulder. But like I'll defend that probably till I'm done competitive eating. Like it works for me. It helps me swallow. It's not a cleanliness thing, blah, blah, blah. And so they might have their reasons for chewing. Like they would do even worse if they didn't chew as much or just swallow large pieces. So I don't know. I feel like like even when I think about offering criticism, I kind of have to take into consideration like we're not all built the same. Like what's gonna work for me might completely make somebody else sick. So I don't know. I'm just trying to be positive, supportive. I think he's gonna do great.
She knows. She can see it. I think in my face when I know I've messed up. Like I am really bad at losing. And I think I actually said this. I think my first ever interview with Dave. I said, "Show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser." Like period. And when I don't do well, I get incredibly aggravated. And she could see it in my face, so she's very good at kind of talking me off the ledge and saying, "Hey, maybe come back and chill out a little bit," because if I start to get at it, it was one of the reasons, other than lacking talent, I didn't make a good pitcher in high school. I had a really long memory. I couldn't just let it go. Or if I just missed a call that I thought was like maybe on the corner that I should have gotten, inning's over. I'm about to completely implode. And so she's very good at kind of keeping me on an even keel. So if anything, her coaching is more like, she's like my therapist when I'm there. Kind of keeps me sane.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Okay, so we will need some therapy on February 10th. We told you guys about me versus Nuggets, right? This has had to have come up in conversations before. So February 10th, that's right, in Cleveland, Ohio, the Cavs are playing the Denver Nuggets. Our guy Suryat, Dave, Chris. How many Nuggets did Suryat put back last time in the knockout fight?
It was weak. He did. So he's thrown up in the studio twice. I think he peaked out at 91.
Reversal of fortune is, I think, the technical term. Is that right? Yeah. Reversal of fortune.
Yeah. The champ who made his own belt. He's not as talented as Miki, who actually gets her own belt, but
just to make his own belt.
Mind of Quinn. What did he have last time? 100 and
he went over 100.
He won
110,
120 maybe.
Was it 120?
Something like that. Right around there.
For an amateur, I think that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's solid. I think I only did like 240 odd when I did it at home, just kind of for fun on the live. And part of it was just like I got bored at home and my mouth hurt, and I'm pretty sure I was starting to hear ringing in my ears. My buddy said that was just the baby chickens, but it was. But 100 plus of nuggets for a regular guy, that's pretty incredible. Yeah.
Even with NBA defense, you should be fine if you're going up over 2 bills. I think.
So, Nick, you want in on this?
Dude, I would be so down to do a nugget eating contest. Yeah, like I am a big fan of nuggets, as long as we're allowed a selection of dipping sauces.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I believe the official nugget is McDonald's nuggets, but any dipping sauce goes. Okay, so you can
I can't let you in on any professional secrets, but it probably won't be a dipping sauce you'd expect.
All right, we'll all be throwing up anyway, so it doesn't matter.
The air fryer in Dave's basement is getting ready to put in overtime for next week. Oh God,
disgusting.
Love it.
No, that's awesome, man. I mean, like, so those are one of those foods, because sometimes when we tell people what we do and they either don't believe us, most people know who she is, but they won't, or they'll be like, "Oh, man, you guys are good, but I could totally take you like pancakes or pizza or something like that." I'm like, I mean, that's great, but like, and again, I'm not comparing what we do to being like an NFL running back or like an NBA center. But at the same point, you wouldn't even go up to like a Mark Madsen and be like, "Dude, I'll take you in a game of one-on-one," because the worst NBA player will make you look atrocious if you play him in one-on-one. And that's the same thing with us. Is people, a couple times it's happened, just you go out to eat with a relative to like an all-you-can-eat sushi or something, and in about 15 minutes, you see the look on their face like, "Oh yeah, shit just got real. This is no longer fun." So.
Do you guys get any like trolls? Do you get trolls on the internet saying stuff like that? Like I said, Nick, I saw the one today. Like, "Oh, why do you eat all that food? Why aren't you feeding people in China?" Or like, like really?
Yeah, we definitely get a lot of people either that claim we don't do all of it. It's all an elaborate ruse, and like we've chosen to fake it. It's like, dude, if I was gonna fake the talent, I'd fake something a lot cooler than ramming 17 pounds of fries and cheese curds down my face, you know. But that,
wild.
Or you do get people like, "Oh, how could you eat all the food if there's kids starving?" And I get it, like, and that even when I told her, like, we raised over $150,000 the year prior for Friends of We Care. You know, those camps last year, we raised thousands for Feeding America, with a multitude of charities. you could have selected outrage over anything. You could say, like, there are people without clothes. You should be a nudist. Or do you have a house? How dare you? There are homeless people. So while I understand some people see what we do as like overkill or what have you, we use our talent for way more good than probably the negatives that come along with it.
It's the internet, man. It's the internet. And go follow him on Twitter so they can get more trolls at Nick Wehry and OMG, it's Miki. I know you guys are really big into YouTube and putting up a bunch of really cool video content out there. What have you been doing recently, and how can people find all that?
There's been a pause in the uploads, but we should have a new video coming out in the next week. And after that, I'm really excited to put out, we did a little gender reveal video.
Nice.
Because I actually found out what we were having like about a week before Nick, and I made him eat like pounds and pounds of whoopie pies, like with little colored dots in the middle. So he had to eat like the equivalent of like, I think he's 3 tubs of frosting and like 4 boxes of cake mix. And at the end, he found out if we were having a boy or a girl. So that video will probably be coming out afterwards. And other than that, we've just been getting settled into the new apartment. We haven't even been here for a month. So Nick put up all the belts.
Nice.
Yeah, but other than that, like I feel like I'm still unpacking.
Yeah, it's youtube.com/Miki Sudo. But yeah, and the best part with those whoopie pies is I came home from the gym. She had them all laid out because obviously I couldn't see what was in the center. And she even did like faulty ones that were just all white in the center. So then I'm eating extra ones just for like shits and gigs. So it was like, I feel like I was on a shitty 80s game show. It's like, whammy, sorry, that's another pound of whoopie pies. And then just with my luck, it literally took to like the last 2 to differentiate between the numbers. I was like, dude, like the diabetes is setting in, and I just want to look at a sonogram and see what's happening.
Screw this, I'm calling the doctor. I don't care.
Exactly. I will call the OB right now.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
What else is new? We got a dog.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, the dog's adorable.
Yeah, this is Dennis.
What's up, Dennis?
He's an American bully, and he's also a giant pain in the butt. But he's a pretty good boy so far. Just likes to chew and pee and crap everywhere. So, but we have him just to bring some more anarchy into the what will be ensuing in roughly, we're 25 weeks. We're 15 weeks today, along with the baby. We are officially live from Tampa, Florida now.
That is awesome.
So there's plenty going on. New jobs, new location, dog, baby.
Easy.
Hopefully a W next week. Get it all going.
That is awesome. Congrats on everything going on. Super, super awesome to hear. Where can people watch this?
So it'll be streaming live on the DraftKings YouTube page as well as their Twitch stream. They're also doing a free-to-play $100,000 pool at home. There's like 10 different picks that people can make. So 100K on the line. Make your picks with all the different eaters and all the different lines that are on there. So yeah.
Simple questions. You don't really have to know anything or much about competitive eating. Like, will all these people finish all this food, or how many people will finish this?
And even if you don't, it's free to play.
What will be like the fastest time to eat a pizza or something? Where it's like you could be a fan of competitive eating, you could be an absolute, just I don't know, casual observer, and you just answer like 10 or so questions for free.
Yep. So that's February 7th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Live from the Bay, 8 foods consecutively. The likes of Joey Chestnut, Jeff Esper, Shalesko, Gideon Oji, myself, and Darren Breeden, consuming way more Super Bowl foods than any of you ever should in 8 minutes.
Any prediction for the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm a Packers fan, so I wanted to ram my head through the sheetrock last Sunday. And it's even worse listening to all these people talk about how great Tom Brady played when he kind of played like a bag of ass. And still get the W. You put up like a 70 QBR, and then Rodgers goes for 3 touchdowns while getting sacked 5 times. And they're like, oh, Steve told you Rodgers was no good. Shut up, Skip Bayless. But anyway,
What'd you think about the field goal? What'd you think of that field goal, man?
I think Matt LaFleur, that was one of the most nutless calls I've ever seen. When you have basically the most efficient red zone quarterback in the history of the league. Rodgers probably should have ran on third down. I think that double broken collarbone still talks to him sometimes. He's like, yeah, F that noise.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. But even still, you still have to score a touchdown regardless. Yeah. That looked like for the first time. Now the dude is 26-6 in 2 seasons, so it's hard to question Matt LaFleur. At the same time, you still have to score a touchdown, and I think his age showed, or his lack of experience kind of showed there. But then again, I think Mike Pettin played atrocious. I think Kevin King was overmatched all game and almost single-handedly gave up all the Bucs points. And Aaron Jones fumbling twice in a game almost never happened. But beyond my anger over the Packers game, I will say it's really, really hard to bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs because what he is providing to the Bucs is oozing confidence into those other 55 players, and that Buccaneers defensive line is horrifying. So if they can get after Mahomes and kind of get him on his back a few times, I think what will give the Bucs trouble is I almost guarantee that the Chiefs will get more pressure than the Packers did. And Brady crumbled. He was pressured 3 times through 2 picks and got sacked once. So that's if you can hit Brady in the mouth, he doesn't want to take shots anymore, which is understandable. You got 6 rings and you're 42. There's no reason to take it. So I'll take the Chiefs and probably a shootout, maybe 38-31.
Nice. I love it. And we were kicking our feet and our heads into the wall as well. We lost to Chad Henne on 3rd and 14. So
yeah, but that's a tough call to make. Like, again, they actually compared the two. He's like, we were he came out and said, like, we were confident we could stop Chad Henne.
Yeah.
What's Matt LaFleur going to come out and say, like, oh, we were confident we could stop Tom Brady?
Right.
Like, yeah, that's a great choice. That's a great choice. Said literally no one ever. You could be fired from that alone. Fire Menenga and fire Mike Pettin. Yeah, that's great. You guys know the Mike Pettin firing or not resigning was a great choice.
Yeah.
But, you know that firsthand. Like, get rid of Dom Capers and sign basically a younger, fatter Dom Capers. But anyway, it's you guys had a rough go too. I was kind of pulling for you, but who knows? I'll take the Chiefs by a score.
Love it. Well, Nick, we're going to be pulling for you as always. Super pumped to watch that. Miki, awesome catching up. Looking forward to when you are back and that baby is cheering you both on. That is going to be crazy.
Yeah, they'll definitely. I'm sure we'll talk to you guys closer to Nathan's, and she'll be waddling her way up on stage to support me while I'm at Nathan's. And super prego at that point, and it'll be exciting. She'll have a awesome comeback moment at some point, like next year to come take that interim title, like a Triple H WWE comeback thing, So
comeback player of the year. I can see it already. I can see it. All right, guys, we kept you way too long. We appreciate it. Congrats on everything, as I said before, and we will be watching you.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, we'll see you after you win for me versus Nuggets. All right, see you guys.
Awesome, thanks, man.
All right, that was Nick Wehry and Miki Sudo, 2 of the greatest competitive eaters in the entire world, and they are hilarious.
They are.
They're great.
Every time we have them on, they're one of the top guests we ever have on the show.
Oh, you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
We just transition from competitive eating to football, no problem. He can break down his team. He can break down your team. He can break down the coaches. He'll break it all down. It's just fantastic stuff every single time. I love having those guys on.
That's
How
right.
about that Mike Pettin jab, huh?
Oh, you like that, Nick? I knew you liked
one
that.
Of us. One of us. Right
he
there.
is, man. He follows us on Twitter, so he follows around with the Browns. So awesome stuff. Go check him out. He's gonna win. Let's get in some headlines. Headlines. Wait for it.
Interesting. That catches me off guard every single time.
Problems here, Dave?
Never, Chris. Never technical difficulties on this show.
Nope.
All right. Let's get into some headlines. We were just talking about it. Chiefs versus Bucks. Mahomes versus Brady. Super Bowl 6 days away here. Nick, what storyline are you looking most forward to in this one?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the whole narrative of like young future GOAT versus current GOAT. You know, so much is going to be made of that throughout this week.
Yeah.
Mahomes is the up and coming. Brady's that been there a zillion times. I do agree with what Nick said of just Brady's confidence that he passes on to the rest of the 52 guys on that roster is something of note. Also, this week, especially albeit virtual, is something different than what anyone team has to put up throughout an NFL season. Like the media fanfare, the fanfare, all of the obligations and boxes that you have to check before you get to play that game on Sunday that goes into what is the Super Bowl week. I think that does take a toll on teams, but Brady's been there 9 times. Now that he's got Gronkowski by his side too, that offense is going to be humming, and the defense is one of the most, if not the most talented in the NFL in Tampa Bay. Those linebackers are really good. I don't have really a prediction quite yet, but it's going to be hard for me to bet against the Bucs.
That's fair. Chris, are you your mentality last show or 2 weeks ago was you wanted to see the Chiefs beat the Bills because the Chiefs beat us. You want the best to win, so we look better. You going with that mentality for the Super Bowl?
The transitive property of sports, right? They beat us. They beat them. We looked better against them than they did against them, so therefore we're better than the Bills. That whole thing, and we'll go with that same logic here. Now, in all actuality, I'm ready for it to all be over. just play the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Just end it
This
now.
thing is done. Let's move on. I'm so geared up about the Browns, and now that the Browns are in the rear view mirror, I'm actually excited about an off season where we're talking about building depth and adding at key positions rather than overhauling a front office and, dealing with new coaches and dealing with who's our quarterback. Now that we've got a lot of that stuff set and you're talking about a different story, I'm really looking forward to the off season, and I really want things just to get going, and I want to get into next season as soon as possible. I really do. And this is just one of those steps. Got to get by the Super Bowl first. I hope both teams have fun. I hope it's a good time for everybody, but I really, at this point, I don't care that much.
That's fair enough. Let's talk about something we do care about because the Cavs are 9-11. About to start this
right now.
We're winning right now. Okay, toughest stretch.
77-71 over your Minnesota Timberwolves after losing last night to these same Timberwolves. We're looking pretty good tonight.
All right, let's jinx it. Say 10-11. Roughest, toughest stretch of the season coming up here. 9 straight games against teams with records above 500. Nick, you've been watching these guys real closely. Next 9 games, what are kind of your expectations going against this? We got the Clippers, back-to-back Milwaukee, Phoenix, Denver, Portland, Clippers, Golden State, and the Spurs.
I mean, it's a brutal stretch. Like, what else can you say of it? That's a tough stretch of games. Really just weather the course and weather the storm. Like, as long as the team – I hate being this guy, and I'm personally fed up with, like, the moral victories. Like, we're year 3 post LeBron, and I'm starting to get a little impatient, we played the Lakers so well, just fell short by 5 or 6. Man, next year with maybe one more lottery pick, that could be different. I am getting sick of that. But as long as the team looks confident and there's not a loss that like stinks up the rest of the stretch of games, like as long as they're within 10 the whole way, they're looking and acting competitive, maybe steal a few, play some spoiler. That's all I really look for, because nobody's going to expect you to beat Giannis in back-to-back nights the same way that you beat Brooklyn's Big Three. Like, they're capable of doing it, and they're capable of pulling upsets. And if your goal this season is the 10-game play-in tourney and ultimately to be a 7 or 8 seed to make the playoffs this year, you're going to have to play spoiler if that's the case. So no better time than this 10-game stretch, I suppose.
And so we've got a player who's playing pretty well, almost 25 points a game. The young bull, Colin Sexton, half of Sexland. Chris, take the 19, so he's on pace to probably get to his average at least. Take the home team bias out of this. Colin Sexton MVP voting, All-Star voting. All-Star voting is coming up. I think it just started last week, right, Nick? Yeah. Is he an All-Star?
Hell yeah. Come on. Put him in.
He's 100.
You think so, Noah? Noah's sitting here. He's watching the game. He's got it on his laptop. He's so dialed into the Cavs. So give us the lowdown. Colin Sexton, All-Star?
He should be. I mean, he was already snubbed to that a Rising Stars Player of the Game.
Yeah.
And Miles Bridges went over him. So, I mean, he has the track record. He has the stats to be in. If he's not in this year, I don't really know what to say. He should at least be on the reserve, at least.
The thing about about Sexton that's impressed me the most since he was drafted is his 3-point shot. Like, I didn't think he had that good of a 3-point shot. I think he's 5th in the NBA in 3-point percentage.
Yeah, he's come a long way.
Yeah.
He's definitely come a long way.
Competition.
His passing has come a long way. Yeah, and who knows? Like Chris said, possibly 2022 NBA All-Star Game could be a home game for Colin Sexton. Maybe get involved in some of those events with the 3 points. We have Larry Nance in town. Maybe get him back into the dunks for the home All-Star Game, kind of looking ahead, really ahead. But, he should definitely be an All-Star.
Great.
Wouldn't it?
Yes.
Colin and Larry.
Dunk.
Both
and
of
Colin
them.
Sexton in a 3-point competition.
And Darius could shoot the 3 too. We haven't seen it much yet. But
Do full sex land for the 3 competition. That would be fantastic.
It's happened before, Steph and Clay with the Splash Brothers, they've been there. But when you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, Kyrie and Bradley Beal for the guard position, those will probably be your starters in the East. But outside of that, Colin Sexton's played better than Trae Young this season in the East. You got to have Colin in that All-Star game. And I know it's so fan voting dependent. We're going to get the tweet up there because we got to get Colin Sexton in this All-Star game.
I'm with you there. We haven't wanted to talk Indians at all for many reasons. Don't really want to, but they. I love that sound clip. They spent a little money, Chris. They spent a little money this offseason after just getting rid of all of their contracts. But Eddie Rosario from the Twins, a guy who beat up on us over the last couple of years, Cesar Hernandez. Signed both of them, cheap deals. I think it was a 1-year deal for Rosario. I think it was 1 year for Cesar as well. Obviously, they probably need to do a little bit more. But, Chris, are you back to saying, okay, I guess I'll watch this?
No. Well, am I going to watch this? I follow the Indians. Followed them through the horrible years. I'm going to follow them, and I'm going to be listening to Tom Hamilton. But, God, it's going to be hard. It's going to be real hard to go through that grind. But
Chris, we have a power hitter now in the outfield.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do, Dave. Come on.
We're going to lose a lot of 2-1 ball games.
Oh, my God. I'm just not ready for that. That's what I say. This goes back to that Super Bowl chat that we were just having. Just give me the Brown season. And I say that.
Yeah.
2021. I'm sitting here saying that unironically. I would love to go back and tell myself, sitting in this seat this time last year, say, man, I'm just looking forward to Brown season. And that's where I'm at right now. And the Indians are just, it's gonna be awful, boys. It's gonna go out.
I mean, rookie OTA is just a few months away, really. If you want to think very short-sighted till you get Brown and Orange back into your life, rookie OTAs early May, end of April, you start to get the jersey photo ops and the rookie sign, and who's still holding out? Is Trevor Lawrence maybe not all the way in on the Jags? You'll get some of that kind of stuff happening.
And then you never know with Major League Baseball, they're having some issues between the players union and the owners. They may just screw things up, and we may not see a whole lot of baseball.
Could you imagine? One way to shoot yourself in the foot, even worse than you already have, is just delay the season when all these other sports, indoor sports have fans in there. I'm watching the Cavs with a couple thousand fans, and Major League Baseball leaves it to a lockout and a players' dispute with the owners to cause a lockout. That'd be poetic justice, in the words of Myles Garrett.
I don't think there's another sport probably in the world that is more disconnected from their fans as baseball is, and they just don't
MLB.
They can't help themselves. They cannot help themselves.
The best part about that is the players know it too. Like if you have the players calling you out in addition to the fans, you know it's pretty bad.
Trevor Bauer called them out on this show. like very openly.
Oh yeah, he doesn't care.
Well, if you're going to get MLB's attention, to be fair, you do it on this show.
That is true. That is true.
All
Bud
the biggest
Selig,
names.
Shout out to Bud Selig. We appreciate you viewing as always.
All right, let's get into the best, worst tweets of the week.
Rob Manford.
All right, best tweet of the week. Winner goes to Daniel Singer at Daniel Singer on Twitter. So Daniel put this out on Twitter. He decided to shoot for the moon and ask Jordan Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, to recreate the "I'm not fucking leaving" from Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio, to the Reddit traders of the world this week. He did not disappoint. Check it out.
We're not leaving. We're not leaving. We're not fucking leaving! The show goes on! This is our home! They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take us out of here! They're gonna have to send in the National Guard and fucking SWAT team because we ain't going nowhere!
You can't beat it. You cannot beat that. Tweet of the week, Daniel Singer. Well done. Chris, worst tweet of the week. What did we find out on the interwebs?
It wasn't actually technically the tweet that was bad. The tweet was actually very good because a guy by the name of Jacob Hallex called out what seems to be a burner account. For those of you who don't know Patrick Reed or don't follow golf, he's basically the Shooter McGavin of the tour right now, the guy who everybody loves to hate. The guy's very cocky, very brash, and very unapologetic, and that does not go well in golf. And on Saturday, he called for a ruling on what he was calling an embedded ball when, and for those of you who don't know golf, generally most of the rules are really left up to the player, right? The player's got to self-govern out there. They'll call over rules officials, but most of the time the rules officials are checking off something that they're already seeing. And in this case, he was trying to get, basically an upper hand, and it was not an appropriate spot to take that type of relief, but that's what he was asking for. And so going on to Twitter, this account calls out the next day, Rory had done something similar. And the account calls him out, saying Rory McIlroy did the same thing today on hole 18, didn't even call a rules official over to deem the ball embedded, end of story. That was sent out originally from Patrick Reed's official account, then was sent out by another account, Golf Facts, which turns out, and everybody is now speculating, that is just a burner account and may actually be run by his wife, Justine. And that is the type of juicy Twitter stuff you get out there that people just eat up. So that, Dave, is your worst, aka the best tweet of the week for calling out Patrick Reed, as everyone loves to do right now, the Shooter McGavin of the PGA Tour.
Burners. Love it.
You guys want to do Super Bowl picks real quick? I know I'm supposed to wrap this up. You guys want to do it real quick?
I'm in.
All right.
I want to hear yours first, though, Nick.
All right, I'll go first. Give me Tampa Bay 31-30.
Wow.
Woo.
See,
Tom Brady, Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, I don't want to see that. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Chiefs. I feel like these are usually lower scoring games. I'm going to go 28-17 Chiefs.
Chiefs 42.
Ooh.
Give me Tampa Bay 36.
That'd be fun.
That'd be a whole lot of fun
there.
I'll take Mahomes and the Chiefs 26-24.
26-24 Mahomes and the Chiefs.
All right, sounds like we got a good game.
Yeah, we're in for some fun on Sunday. We'll also be in some more fun on Monday night. Big Play Reflog. We do this all again next Monday. Some more cool guests for you guys coming your way. Huge thanks to Shaq News. Go check them out, shacknews.com. Nintendo breakdown. Little change of pace versus all the PlayStation and Xbox stuff that they've been giving you. Go check them out, shacknews.com. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Cut back by Chubb.